because it's about the harsh reality of the cost of living here in Ecuador. I'll be right back.
Hey! Roger! Oh, Rocket Chick Roger! Hello there.
So there's been a lot of talk about the new visa income requirements for moving to Ecuador. It went from $425 to $1,275. They tripled it. That's per person. Minimum income requirement to get a visa, a retirement visa here in Ecuador. Now, there are a lot of other ways around this. You need to talk to an immigration lawyer. I would talk to Maite Duran at Gringo Visas, or whatever facilitator or legal service you have. I recommend Gringo Visas because they did right by me and they did exactly what I paid them to do. But let them help you with that. But I've been here for almost 12 months now, almost a year. Next month will be a year. And I gotta say, it hasn't been as cheap as I thought it was going to be. It's the only reason why I say that is because I have a little different lifestyle than a lot of single people do. I have, I guess I have more expensive taste. I like the nicer things in life. I like to eat out a lot. I like my beer and wine. I like paying for personal services like driving services and stuff like that a lot of you may not care about. Fortunately for me, I have enough income that I can pretty much afford to do what I want to do here. Not like some people. I mean, there are a lot of people that have much better off than me. The harsh reality of moving here and living here is you can watch YouTube videos and people say, live in Ecuador on $500 a month. Well, yeah, you can do that. You might be in a bamboo hut on a beach somewhere. When it starts raining, the centipedes will fall through the ceiling and land on you while you're sleeping, but hey, it's $500 a month. Some people, maybe the younger people, might just love that. You see videos that say, hey, live in Ecuador for $1,000 a month. If $1,000 a month was all I had, I wouldn't live here. My monthly budget, and I use a software package that I've been subscribing to called YNAB for quite some time, and I budget every single penny I spend. But when I first came here, my average monthly budget was around $1,500 a month. Half of that was my rent. I paid $700 a month for rent. I could have gotten a much better deal and a lot less money. I could have lived somewhere else here in Manta for a lot less than that. I like it where I'm at because I have a beautiful ocean view from my bedroom window and my balcony, my living room window where I'm looking right now out at the ocean. And I pay for that. I've added a few things since I came here that I didn't really think I was going to need in my budget. They weren't included in my budget. And now my monthly cost of living here is a little over $2,000 a month. So please don't be misled by these people that talk about how cheap it is to live in Ecuador. It can be as cheap as you want it to be, and it can be you can be as happy or miserable as you want to be. You're going to pay for it either way. If you're going to be happy, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay more than most. If you're okay with not having as much and you're okay with hanging out on the beach all day or walking around doing nothing, I mean, you can probably get by on $500 a month. I did a spreadsheet that shows an average budget, okay? Now, I came up with this spreadsheet by looking at my budget. Then the figures that I came up with, and you're going to see the spreadsheet here in just a minute, the figures that I came up with are based on what my budget's been like, and I had to kind of be a little bit more conservative with the rent because I just thought that was a better thing to do. This $1,275 a month thing is scaring a lot of people off, and I'm not going to say as it should, but I will say if you don't have $1,275 a month in income, I don't think you're going to be that happy here. There again, it depends on where you go. Manta, which is where I'm at right now, is a very expensive city to live in. When I was in Cuenca, I spent a lot less money on things than I do here in Manta. That's for sure. In Cuenca, you can get a high-rise apartment in a really nice modern building, 2 or 3 bedroom apartment with a big outdoor deck overlooking the Tomebamba River for $500 a month. But here in Manta, $1,275 is not going to get you a lot. I'm just telling the truth, folks. I'm just telling it like it is. If you are freaking out because the government says you need $1,275 a month in income to live here, this may not be the place for you. Thank God you're not going to Mexico, because they've raised theirs up to $2,600 a month. Of course, I've had several people tell me, oh, there's ways around that. Well, that's fine. Go find those ways around that and knock yourself out. So, don't have these high expectations about how cheap it's going to be to live here. It'll be as cheap as you really want it to be. And if you create a scale, you'll find a direct relationship between the cost and how much you spend and how happy you are here, and whether you will stay. I've seen a lot of people come here and leave and go back to the United States or back to Canada or Australia or wherever. I'd hate like hell to think I'd have to go back to the United States right now. I wouldn't be able to afford it. But anyway, I'm going to redirect you to the spreadsheet here, and we'll go through the numbers and the categories and everything that I included in this budget. And put in the comment section what you think. If you have any questions, feel free to ask any questions. And good luck to you. That's all I can say. Good luck to you. So here's a spreadsheet. Okay, so here, let me just make sure I got everything working. Okay, here is the spreadsheet. If you look across the top of the first row, you can see I have rent, iNet, that's internet, water, gas, electric, transportation, groceries, insurance, dining out, tipping, cell phone. These are essential items that basically are in my budget. I have a few more items that are in my budget, but these are essential for being here. Maybe not to the extent that I have them, but we'll discuss that here in a minute. I put these numbers together just based on average figures from having lived here for almost a year, talking to rental agents and other real estate agents. And I'm going to, average rent here, say Ocean View rent here can be anywhere from $500 to $1,500. I'm trying to be very conservative here and say it might be possible to find something for $600, but if you look at all the different rates around the city, I think $600 a month is pretty reasonable average rent to expect to pay here in Manta. Internet, most time you can get your internet included with your rent. That's something that you can negotiate with your agent. But if you had to pay for it, it's probably going to cost you about 35 bucks. I said water here for $10. I'm talking about drinking water, not water that you bathe with. $5 gallon or 5-gallon jug of water in my building cost me $2. And I know I go to at least 5 jugs a month. So that's where I came up with, that's where I got the $10 from. Gas, that's cooking gas. Gas, for here, a lot of places have gas stoves in them. Gas is around $6 a month. Electric bill, $24. If you see underneath there, I said or more. But electric bill, your electric bill could run from $11 to $150 or more. It depends on how you use your power, and especially if you use your air conditioning. About half of the year here in Monte, you don't need air conditioning, depending on where you live. But like in my case, I mean, more than half of the year, I don't need air conditioning. I have mine on right this minute while I'm recording this, but that's because I have my place shut up, so I can just try to keep out as much outside noise as possible. But my electric bill, the highest electric bill I've had here all year was like $35. And that was it. Transportation, 50 bucks. That's taxis, in-driver, personal driver, bus, getting around, Taxis here average $1.25 to $2 to $3 a trip, depending on how far you go. I always budget 50 bucks, and sometimes I go over it, but I average around $50. Groceries, 250 bucks. That's what I budget for myself. Insurance, $70. That's insurance is like IESS. If you're here and you're single, and by the way, folks, this budget is assuming that we're talking about one person here. So a lot of this stuff you can probably add 50% more or double it for a couple or more. But anyway, insurance, $70 for ISS. Dining out, I put $125. For me, I budget 250 bucks, which is about average. For me, you may, mileage may vary. It depends on how much you want to go out and how much you want to cook at home. Dining out, and also depending on where you like to eat. If you eat a lot of Ecuadorian foods, you're going to eat pretty cheap dining out. But if you go down to Restaurant Row and eat a lot of the expat type restaurants, you're going to need 250 bucks a month probably for dining out, depending on how often you go. And then of course tipping, I put $20 in here. Tipping is not expected here, but if you are going to tip, don't tip more than 10%, because that's pretty much the average. Cell phone, 24 bucks. That's what mine costs. My Clairol cell phone cost me $24 a month. That's an unlimited plan. It's good service. That's all I need. $1,214 a month. There are a lot of people say, live in Ecuador on $1,000 or $500. Well, you can, depending on where you live. But if you come to this big city like Manta, it's probably one of the more expensive coastal regions to live in Ecuador, you're going to need more than 1,214 bucks, believe me. So the things that I excluded from the budget, like entertainment, like concerts, that can cost you 100 bucks or more a month. Cable TV, they have direct TV here. I don't know if you can get it in English or not. I think you can. I have no clue what it costs. That's just something you're going to have to just Google. Look in the Google, okay, and get that. I don't use DirecTV. I get, well, I won't tell you that. I use other services. Subscription services here like Netflix, Magis TV. Magis is what I have. It costs me $10 a month. I get all USA programming. It's not the absolute best service in the world, but it's okay. If you have good internet connection, it works great. But when internet starts dropping out, which it does around a lot around here, your Magis service will kind of fluctuate too, including Amazon Prime, Netflix, all that, Hulu, and all those subscription services. Alcohol, I'm going to come back to that. Drugs, legal or otherwise, you're going to have a drug bill here. Medical, doctor visits around $60. I don't care how healthy you are. When you come to Ecuador, you're going to find yourself in need of a doctor before too long. It's just, I think it's a fact of life when you get to my age range. You know how it is, folks. You're going to need a doctor. I broke my toe the second week I was here, rushing to get to the door to see the love of my life. At that time, she wasn't the love of my life, but close enough, make me break my toe. Anyway, that's another story. I could do a video on that. Insurance, private or not. So up here, I said, here under insurance, I said $70. That's IESS for somebody my age. But I actually have private. It costs me $97 a month. And that's another video as to why I have it and not IESS. Emergency fund. Everybody should have emergency fund. Money for return trips to home or somewhere else. You know, you need an emergency fund. I put money in my emergency fund and never touch it. And it's amazing how it adds up. Legal funds. I paid for all my legal services before I came here. And then after I came here, I found out that in order for me to avoid having to go before immigration, which in my case meant I would have to go to Cuenca, it was cheaper for me just to get a power of attorney and let my attorney go. Well, that cost me around $100. I had to get it notarized and all that good stuff. Notary services here are not $10, folks. They're around $90. Leftover debt. I don't like to give advice, but I will give advice this time. Do not come to Ecuador with debt. Do not. And if somebody puts a comment in my comment section that I'm giving bad advice, you can come to Ecuador and kiss my butt. Don't come here with debt. There's some advice for you, folks. Free advice, too. It's one of the few things you're going to ever hear me advising. Get rid of your debt before you come here. House cleaning services. I use a house cleaner. She comes here every other week. She charges me $25 she's here usually about 4 hours. She cleans my place from front to back, top to bottom, my toilet, changes my sheets, sweeps and mops the floor, does an excellent job. $25. As long as I'm capable of paying, I'll never clean my house again. I'll let somebody else do it. Laundry, I pay for laundry service. I pay $10 a week for a service to come by and pick up my laundry. A lot of the places that you go to rent from won't have washer and dryer in it, but some will. Some of the buildings may have a laundry room. Some don't. But, I have a laundry room, but I hate doing laundry, so I just pay somebody else to do it. Clothing, the next item, clothing. You're going to get here and find out that the clothes you brought with you are probably not going to be perfect for this climate. And you're going to want to buy clothing. Clothing here is relatively cheap. You can have clothes, you can have shirts and dresses made here, handmade for just pennies on the dollar. But plan on it, okay? Shipping. Everybody needs shipping services. I don't care what you say. When you come here, you're going to need something from your homeland. And if you use FedEx or DHL, you're going to pay through the nose for their service. You've seen me do videos. You've seen my videos about USA Valet. Talk to them. Sign up with them. Use them. Fund money. Fund money is just extra money that you might want just to go do stuff that You know, that's just fun stuff to do that you didn't budget for. Now let's go back to the one I skipped, alcohol. In March, I spent $131.46 on beer and wine. That was almost half of my grocery budget. So I don't include it in my grocery budget because I know it's going to be more than usual. And let me tell you, I drink, believe it or not, I drink no more than 2 16-ounce cans of Pilsner beer every single day. And then I have red wine before I go to bed. I have somebody that helps me drink my red wine once in a while, which I'm more than happy to provide. She helps me get rid of some of my wine, and she's welcome to it. She's worth it. So that's my spreadsheet. Now, let's talk about some of this other stuff. So that's it. It's I hope I'm not discouraging anybody. I know a year ago, I mean, I didn't have any expectations of coming to Ecuador and living here on $1,000 a month. I knew it was going to cost me more than that. I figured it would cost me $1,500 to $2,000 a month to live here, and because I know my lifestyle and I know what I like to do, and I'm not as conservative as maybe I should be in my old age and being in retirement. I just, you know, like I said a minute ago, don't come here with high expectations. Come here with reasonable expectations, and you'll be okay. If you like this channel, please subscribe, and if you like this video, give a thumbs up, and if you want to know about the next video I post, ring that bell. I know I said a couple videos ago that my next video was about Stella Coulter, the real estate agent that I know here, and we had a little bit of a snafu in scheduling, and so it won't be until next week. We're actually going to do the interview tomorrow on Sunday, barring any unforeseen circumstances out of our control. If we can do the interview tomorrow, I'll have it posted by Monday or Tuesday. I feel kind of bad about doing this video, but I just don't want you to be misled like I was misled. I was misled by YouTubers into thinking about how great it was going to be here and how affordable and all that good stuff, and then come to find out it didn't really quite work out that way. I personally, I'm okay, but I don't want to see it happen to you, okay? From Monte, Ecuador, thanks for watching. Ciao.